Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bold Talk by Joe, the coolest spot for unfiltered culture combo. I'm Joe, your vibe curator. Dive into fearless chats, break norms, and ride the wave of boldness with us. Get ready for a podcast that's as fresh as it is real. Stay bold, stay tuned. Peace.
Sometimes people have a story to tell. It could be a story of triumph or a story of sorrow. However, it's their story. It's important to keep their story authentic, in their own words, and delivered in a delicate way. That's where Unfiltered Discussions podcast comes in. I'm Brian Howard. I talk with my guests about tough subjects and pivotal moments. I'd love for you to hear their stories. Subscribe to Unfiltered Discussions on your favorite podcast platform. Let's ensure their stories are heard.
No, because that just led me to, what if you had a body pillow that was a gummy bear?
You know, live TV. We didn't have pause. But I clearly remember scheduling our pisses around when he said the boobs were going to be. You can't give yourself the face tattoos. Did you guys ever do that? Like do the daubs on your face?
I'm still on my tip of my penis. And then use that as a dauber going forward.
All right. We played a different kind of bingo, but that's cool. And, oh, by the way, Star Wars is sort of kind of, known for having strong female characters. Princess Leia, stud. Yep. Rey, stud. Padme.
Oh, God.
Just
go back to merit. Just go back to merit, okay? The best of the best. I'm sorry. That's how it should work. Not everybody's going to be the best. Get over it.
Yep. I want a meritocracy. I want opportunity to be equal.
Soren Kierkegaard said, "There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true." George Orwell told us that in a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, while Aldous Huxley reminded us that facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Lastly, Joe Class said, "The truth will set you free. But first, it will piss you off." This is the news show, Whiskey Hell. Think critically. Act accordingly.
Saturday, January 6th, 8:06 in the evening. This is the narrative-driven news show that just cannot let go of all the bullshit that's happening today. Fitz, how was your week? Happy New Year, man.
Right. Happy New Year to you, too. And Happy New Year to everybody in chat. Got a few of our friends, regulars. I was going to say regulars, and then that sounded a little shady, but then I was like, yeah, that works. There's some shady folks in the chat, and we love all of you guys. So anyway, Happy New Year to everybody. My week was, it was one of those weeks that I knew was going to be bad, and it was actually worse than I thought it was going to be. It was a very tough week. I think I was talking to my wife. I believe the day that I had the least amount of steps this week. So we're just talking about physical.
Okay.
Was I had 15,000 steps was the least amount I had this week in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, it just was a busy, physically demanding, mentally demanding week. And now we're here, and I'm so happy. How are you? How was your week?
I'm doing well. Week went by okay. Only worked half of it because I was off still through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday had to put my nose back to the grindstone. But it was good. It was fine. Yeah, way better than Japan's week or Bill Clinton's week. So I'm feeling good about it. I don't know. I'm feeling okay.
Good. Yeah, I mean, more to talk about with the Japan thing for sure, and obviously Clinton. Um, that whole Epstein name drop, the list dropping, seemed a little anticlimactic. Until then, they dropped more the next day, and then even more. There was a third drop, and then you start getting into the weeds of it all. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is only the shit we're hearing about.
Oh, totally.
There's still redacted names on there. There's still probably another Jeffrey Epstein out there somewhere doing this kind of shit. I mean, we all saw Taken.
Absolutely.
Right? We all
there's
saw Taken.
Absolutely, especially with the twists that we're going to talk about tonight. So there's absolutely no doubt. In fact, there was a recent honeypot operation that was just busted in D.C. So yeah, we've got plenty of stuff going on. But yeah, thank you to Aaron, Joe, and Elle who are in chat. I believe we may be getting some other folks later on, but we'll see who's able to stop by. Let's get right after it. What beer are you drinking?
Well, mystery beer, although I don't think this one's going to be much of a mystery. This is by 10 Barrel, which is a very, very solid brewery up here in the PNW. It's a dark black can. The beer poured dark and black, and so I believe it is their Sinister Black, and I haven't even tasted it yet. They make several good beers, but this one is one of my favorites. And a funny story about this, but well, hold on, let me taste it here really quick.
Yep.
Let's make sure I'm on track. Mm-hmm.
Check it out. All right, I'm going to put my. Well, I was supposed to put in my age to be able to access this, and I guess I don't have to. Well,
yes.
That's fantastic. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's been a while since I've had this beer. I'm fairly certain it's the Sinister. So it's a dark Cascadian.
Okay.
It's not hoppy at all. It is caramely. It is smooth. It goes down. The scary thing about this beer is how easily it goes down. I am doing the big reveal. Yep, Sinister Black Ale.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is. So I mean, nothing fancy about this beer. It's just a good fucking beer, and it just goes down way, way too smoothly. It's only a 5.7, so you think, okay, I'm gonna have a couple, but it's so fucking good, you end up having the entire 6-pack, and then you're good, you're schnookered. So, this is just one of those beers you can't lose with. People who say they don't like beer, I said try this one, and they were like, oh, actually, that's not so bad. And then people who know beer and like beer can't get enough of this stuff. I'm actually ashamed of myself that I haven't had this in a while. I need to get back to my Sinister Black days. So funny story. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that seems like a beer to just keep in the back of the fridge to wherever you want to pull it out.
Yeah, it's exactly. When you don't know what to drink, this is the beer you should be pulling out.
Nice.
100%. So the funny story about this beer, when we first moved up here to Oregon, it was my wife's first birthday that we were up here. So we had been up here a little while, and she wanted to go over to Bend and see Bend, Oregon, which is, I believe, where 10 Barrel, where their brew house is. But we found this fucking shitty bar, and there was a really, when I say bad, I mean like worse than bad. I just don't know any other words to describe it, but
right.
There was this really, really bad 80s cover band, but they had 10 Barrel, the Sinister Black, on tap, and so I just kept them coming. I mean, I'm like, if I'm gonna sit through this band, I'm gonna fucking drink my way through it. I shit you not. And my wife had the same thing. We probably, between the two of us, probably went through 13 or 14 pints just sitting there. We had dinner, and the place was kind of cleared out. I mean, so the guy, the bartender, was also our waiter. So we're kind of just waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And then he finally comes out, and I'm like, hey, we're ready for our check. He's like, oh, yeah, right. I'll be right back. And then we waited. McShane, we waited. And do you know what happened next? We got the fuck up, and we left. Because I shit you not, we were there. Yeah, we were there 20 minutes. And I was like, I'm not waiting for this. I don't know if he's getting a BJ in the back or what's going on, but he either forgot about us or just didn't give a shit. So I was like, we're out. Didn't pay, had a lot of free beer, went back to the hotel, drank some champagne, and had some lovely sex. It was great. It was great. Anyway, and it was 5 below. That was the other thing. It was 5 below in
Oh my
Bend.
gosh.
Ben gets really cold. So I still have the screenshot of my weather app. Because I was like, man, it feels cold out here. When we walked into the bar, it was, the sun was out and it was chilly, and then we had one of those kind of Arctic bombs, which we're going to talk about later. We had one of those Arctic bombs that weekend, and really, really got cold. So anyway, that's my funny story, or my cool story, I guess. Kind of not funny, it's cool. About Sinister Black Ale. But that's what I'm drinking. What do you got for your first beer? I kind of peeked a little bit at the dock because you had already put your beer on there. This
Yep.
one sounds interesting, dude.
So I just poured it, and the German, I think, what is it? Black Forest gummy bears.
Oh,
You've seen those, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and you know how most gummy bears have that very soft color to them. So it could be any color, but it always has. It's never a crisp yellow or a crisp orange, right? It's always like a soft or kind of a dull color to it.
Is that why I've always wanted to have sex with a gummy bear?
Probably.
They're
maybe,
soft colors.
maybe. I don't know. Like the super large gummy bears or the small ones.
Or do I have a mental illness?
I don't know. If you'd had said gummy worms, then we might want to
Oh,
look at
Jesus.
that. But I think
Anyway,
you might be
one of the
okay.
big ones. Yeah, one of those big ones. One of the big red
Perfect.
ones. I was like, you
Okay.
put that thing in the
Wait a
microwave
minute.
for 30 seconds. Sorry,
What if it-
I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I'm just. Go ahead.
No, because that just led me to, what if you had a body pillow that was a gummy bear, and
I
then you
think that
could
would
just
be
like curl up with it.
a really sticky night. Well, yeah, and then you wake up, you're a little hungry, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
just take a bite.
you can eat it and whatever else you need to do with it, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So this
Yeah,
beer,
go ahead.
it's called Piranha Pool. As soon as going back to the gummy thing, you open the can, and you get this tropical gummy bear, sweet candy like nose.
Okay.
And then you look at the color and you're like, okay, this is kind of creepy because it actually the color actually matches the way it smells, which is kind of crazy to me because that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of coconut, very tropical. Let me taste it. It reminds me of really good tasting suntan lotion.
Okay.
That sounds weird, but
Is there such a thing?
it's because of the smell. It's really because of the smell. It's like what are those the super coconut smelling suntan lotions?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I almost said
Tropicana.
Tropicana. I almost said Tropic Thunder.
No, that's a totally different kind.
Yep.
It's good. It's good. It's kind of a weird combination with the coconut cream and the strawberry. The pineapple kind of, I think it totally works, but it's a good sour. Not super sour. It's not a salt sour either. So you're not getting any of those flavors. It's going to be a crushable one, and it's only 5%. So I like how I'm starting. And it's a little bit different too. So
Yeah, nice. You were talking about how you could like smell the color.
yeah.
What is that called? Synesthesia, where you can people can hear numbers, or they can taste colors. You like the wires get crossed. Well, there's one of the kiddos in my program. I don't know, man. He's only 4, but the way he talks, I think he smells words.
No kidding.
Yeah. Certain words will come up and he'll be like, "Why is it stinky?" And I'm like thinking, okay, I mean, they're 4-year-olds. Maybe someone farted, but there's nothing. And he's done that a few times, and with the same word. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. There's weird shit going on out there, and that kid's one of them.
I wonder, is he kind of on the spectrum too, or no?
Nope, nope, no, no. He's highly social, um, funny kid, really funny. Maybe he's doing it for comedic effect. I don't, because I laugh every time. So I'm like, what are you talking about, Logan? What are you talking about? Anyway,
Interesting. All right.
yeah, this is a very odd start to the show. I think it's because of my new microphone. I think that's why things are weird.
Well, I think everybody's enjoying it. I know it sounds good. I know you sound good on this end. So,
Oh, great. And thank you again. Merry Christmas to me. My counterpart bought me all new gear for Christmas, and I was like, I was literally, you can ask my wife, I was a giddy little schoolgirl opening this shit. I couldn't wait to hook it up, and then my week blew up in my face, and I didn't get to hook it up until today. But either way, I was very excited. So thank you again. And I hopefully everybody gets a little bit more of a true sense of how awful my voice sounds because I have a better mic now.
well, it's way deeper, and I know the ladies are waiting for you to say cardamom, so you're gonna have to surprise everybody later on.
Sir, are you throwing down the gauntlet, sir?
Always. That's actually my whole role here, and
I
to
just
push the play button.
I think I just tried a British accent and it was terrible. I'm sorry, everyone. I really am. I apologize.
You're gonna enjoy going back and listening to this one, I think.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's get into a little housekeeping. 2024 Bingo is alive.
Yes.
We are playing it, so you guys can go out to the website. If you haven't been there yet, you definitely should go check it out. We have the link is on the page. Everybody who has joined so far, and you guys can still join us, just join the Patreon. You'll get, even if you go with the $1 level, you should do the 3 or the 7 because has a lot more fun involved. But even if you just join the $1, you'll get one of these bingo cards, which it is a little bit of a it's a little bit of a contest. So we're trying to fill out the world event bingo for the year. So just to kind of give everybody an idea, there is everybody who's joined it's on the site. You guys can go ahead and look at it. So it's totally transparent. We're just going to check stuff off as it goes. We also have our list, which is about 52 different events that can happen. Probably went a little too overboard, but it got too fun. So
yeah, it's great.
But we've already had one event, a 7 plus earthquake, and that happened in Japan on day 1.
Yeah, January 1st, right? I mean, at this pace, someone's going to get bingo by March.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So other kinds of, horrible way to start off New Year's, though. First day of the year, a 7.6 earthquake.
So funny story about that. So our boy Ben Davidson, who, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel yet, guys, I mean, he does literally every morning. He does a morning update on what's on sun weather, on the different gradients in air pressure, so that they can predict earthquakes, which he predicted on December 31st. Actually, December 30th, he said we're going to have a connection with this coronal hole coming around. We're on an earthquake watch as of right now. He said, and I shit you not, he said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in Japan or Indonesia that we get a good earthquake this time. And a day and a half later, bam, it was in Japan, 7.6. Yeah. So, and for those of you who don't know, I'm not going to go into the science of it because it gets pretty heady, but we are able to predict earthquakes. These things. I mean, we're living in the modern day here where it's not an act of God. We know when they're coming because we know what causes them. So, do your research on that. We're getting to the point where they can predict them up to 3 days ahead. And why countries aren't adopting this science, I don't know, because they could have saved some people on January 1st if they'd just said, hey, good chance we're gonna have an earthquake, be prepared, because I think some people just weren't. So anyway, fascinating stuff, good stuff.
Do you think it's because they don't want to create a panic, and since an earthquake could take a few days or it might not come at all, they just don't want to use it?
I mean, I suppose it could be a boy who cried wolf, scenario where, there's another earthquake warning, big deal. And then they get caught unawares anyway. I don't know. I know when you have a strong magnetic coupling with any two large objects. I mean, I don't care if you're talking about, one of those big giant magnets that picks up cars. When you have a magnetic connection with something, shit moves. I mean, that's the whole point. And when we have a strong magnetic connection with the sun, I don't know why they wouldn't at least, hey, we're going to DEFCON 4 or whatever. Just have a rating scale of like, hey, everything's calm, don't worry about it. Oh, you should probably be concerned. Oh shit, we're due. Like even just 3 levels, that would help. Do we have a Jefé saying? Jefé.
We have a Jefé.
Hi
What's
guys.
up, man? Hello.
Just living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whose dream?
Yeah. Freddy Krueger, I think.
Yikes.
There's a throwback.
That's dark, dude. I got accused of being dark already on the show.
That's racist.
It was highly racist. Joe, do you hear this? That was racist. Don't call me dark again.
Yeah.
So you're living someone's nightmare. One man's nightmare is another man's dream, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Like
never
Freddy
seen.
Krueger.
I got to admit, I've never seen any of the Krueger movies. I never saw any of them.
What?
What?
Steve.
I do not watch horror movies ever.
How
I've
can
never
you
watched
how
them.
can you call yourself a Gen Xer?
Wow.
Well, I've
I am
got
shocked.
every other symptom.
Are we a disease now? we're just symptoms.
we are diseased. Yes.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you, you're missing out. A lot of great kind of spooky shit. But you know what, Jefé, we used to watch those movies together. They never really scared me until it was time to go to bed. And then I was like, what if you die in your dream? Like you don't wake up.
Yeah. Those movies, they don't really hold up either over time.
Oh no, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah.
So don't go watch them now, Steve.
Okay, it's not worth it. All right.
No.
Not even for the random boobs that were like just showed up every once in a while.
I don't know if there were any in
No, not
Friday the
in
13th.
Nightmare. Yeah, Friday the 13th. That was the only reason to watch those movies.
I love that we remember that.
Oh, dude. I mean, my favorite thing in the entire world was to order a Domino's pizza each.
Yeah.
We would each order one pizza because one of our moms would spring for it. And then we would turn on HBO because, back then you didn't record shit. You just had to like look when it was on, and there'd be a Friday the 13th marathon.
Yeah.
And we just sit there with, we'd probably drink a 6-pack of Coke each, eat an entire medium Domino's pizza, and watch B movies with titties in them.
Yeah. You do remember how much those pizzas cost back then?
What was it? Didn't they have like a $5 special or something?
It was 2 for $8.88.
$8.88.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, people?
Our parents thought, they're getting off easy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, do you remember that one?
And what are they now? 2 for 28?
I don't know. I think it's.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Do you
thought they
remember-
were like several $100s now. What? Go ahead.
Do you remember that one guy's I was going to say website, but that wasn't a thing back then. It was a guy that had, I think it was his own little spot on Cinemax or something like that. And was it Joe Bob Briggs? I think his name was, where he would go through a movie and be like,
shit.
There's boobs on 18 minutes and 50 seconds. And then yes,
That was him. Joe Bob Briggs. Holy
Joe
shit,
Bob
dude.
Briggs.
How did you remember that?
I have no fucking idea. Well, again, it's the boobs,
You remember? Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Anything tied to boobs.
I think he's still on. He's still on some
dude.
Yeah.
And he had like a
AMC.
Western.
That's what he's on.
Yeah, he had like a Southern, like Texas accent,
Yeah.
Yep.
and he
There
was
it is.
he was nice to listen to. And then he would just tell you what was coming up in the movie, like when to look for it, when to be ready. because
He was
I
like the
clearly
expert
remember
for the pause and toss. He was the expert of the pause and toss.
Yeah, but we didn't. Again, this was like live TV. We didn't have pause. But I clearly remember scheduling our pisses around when he said the boobs were going to be.
Oh yeah. You
I'm
had
like, I
to.
have to take a piss, but I'm way out. We're at 18 minutes here. I gotta wait.
You better fucking hurry. And don't wash your hands.
Oh shit, dude, that's so funny. You remembered that, Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, it just came. I was trying to remember the show or anything like that, but his name just came right to me.
Yeah, he was way better than. Oh, what were the? Why can't I remember their names?
So
Roger
you had
Ebert,
you had Elvira, Roger Ebert and
Ebert,
Siskel.
and Siskel. Yeah, Siskel and Ebert.
they were
Yeah,
they were
he was
just
way better than
movie
them.
raters though. They just rated movies. They didn't do anything else.
I fucking hated their show. Actually, I have to admit, I didn't like their show.
I got stuck watching that all the time because my dad wanted to watch it.
Yeah, well,
But you would have been up against like Crypt Keeper probably.
yeah, Elvira,
and
like you
Elvira,
said.
and Elvira.
Yeah. Yeah. Now talk about tits.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good God.
I swear to you, I still can't picture her face.
It's
Because I mean,
you're not.
and I'm
you're
just,
not missing,
I'm just. Go ahead.
you're not missing anything. Just concentrate on the boobs.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was just at that time of my life. That's all I cared about was
Yeah.
TNA. Yeah, and so I have no idea what her face looked like. None.
Aaron in chat, there was Rhonda Shear Up All Night, and I remember that one too, and also Gilbert
Yeah.
Gottfried
yeah.
when he took over.
Yeah, I remember when Gilbert Gottfried. Yes, that's right. That one too. Gilbert Gottfried. He's hard for me to watch. I don't know if it's the constant squinting or what it is, but
It's the constant squinting and the borderline screaming.
yes, he had to yell everything. Oh, you think it was hard of hearing? I bet he had like an infection as a baby or something.
I don't know. That was his shtick though, but there are very few comics that were raunchier than that guy. He told
That's true.
some jokes that were wow.
That's
Like,
true.
Wow. You just said that. And that
Yeah.
was his gig.
Well, it was like Bill Cosby's early stuff. Like people think of him on the Cosby Show, like America's Dad and then America's Rapist. But before he was either of those things, he was America's raunchiest comic. I mean, he was doing some naughty shit. My mom had one of his comedy albums, and she wouldn't like. Jefé, you know my mom. You both know my mom. Like she didn't shield me from much, but that is one album she wouldn't let me listen to until I was like 12.
Wow.
Yeah, he was raunchy.
I'm trying to think if I was
And-
I don't think I was able to I don't think I've ever heard his stand up actually. I mean, I've heard it, but I don't think I ever heard the vinyls. My dad actually had them. I know I've got some here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should take a listen. The one he did, oh shit. What's that famous theater in New York where everybody goes and if they hate you, they literally like boo you off stage and storm the stage?
The Apollo.
The Apollo, yes.
Yeah.
Find when he was at the Apollo, he fucking killed it. He killed it. And
Huh.
and he was raunchy.
Oh,
Like
he's a
that
creative
that
dude.
crowd was like, oh shit. Yeah, I mean he was really creative, like with his drugs and he was really
Yeah.
got into pharmaceuticals. He was really, really smart guy.
Hey, Jefé, we were talking about the world events. Are there any world events that you're particularly like you're calling your shot on that's gonna happen?
Hmm. No,
Okay.
not off the top of my head. I haven't really been thinking about things lately. Some kind of on autopilot,
That happens.
but I'll come up with something.
All right. Think about it for later. And you know what? You don't have to be like on. I want if Jefé has any, you're going to call your shots on anything. Call your shots on the next episode, or not next episode, on the next segment you're in.
Okay. All right. What do you guys got? Anything grand? Anything great?
You
Well,
mean
I mean,
it's-
when I was looking at my cards specifically, which it's up on the screen right now. There's a few of them that I don't think we have any chance of. I don't know that for sure some are going to happen, although I would like some of them to happen. But I can tell you for sure cancer is not going to be cured because there's too much money in it.
Oh yeah.
So even if they cured it back in the 60s, like some people believe, they're not going to. I mean, that's not going to happen. World War III, I kind of feel like we need some metrics. Like when do we say, okay, we're in it now? Because I don't know. I just don't know.
I would say, and we were kind of talking about that with the cold bomb this morning.
Right.
And we released that's going to be if it hits single digits. We're going to call it, since it's already in single digits in Europe.
Right.
So World War III, I would think you've got NATO versus Russia, China, and probably the rest of the axis of evil, Iraq, Iran, in the Middle East. I think that would probably constitute World War III. So it's kind of close. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think some of these, it's like we're so close already. Epstein list, there's no way any of those people get jail time. I mean, that's not going to happen. Hunter's not going to go to jail. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get bingo, but I'm really excited to see who does get bingo because
what are we playing? What kind of bingo?
It's just straight up 5 squares by 5 squares, and in the middle you get a free one. It's
so
world event bingo. So if you
diagonal,
yeah. If
Have
you
guys
get 5,
ever gone and played bingo?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. Some of the shit they have.
Oh, it's nuts. I've done a date night doing it, and it's actually a fun date night. By the way, it's a really fun date night. But yeah, no, it's wild. It's crazy, and those people will absolutely cut a bitch. They will cut you and let you bleed in the alley behind the fucking bingo parlor.
The way they do it, I'm sure it's on purpose, just to fuck with people. But they'll the thing will pick a number, and they'll call that number out, but then they'll put the next one up on the screen, so you see what's coming next.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I played, a few times, not very, very many times, but there were like 3 times when the next fucking ball would have given me a win, and they call out the one before it, and like 6 people yell bingo.
Right.
It's painful to go through that.
Well, yeah, especially when it happens multiple times in a night.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's why people play multiple cards.
Yeah.
And
now they got
chances and all that.
They got the little computers that do it for you. I mean, you can dob still too, but.
So they have computers now that you can just basically sit there and go, all right, well, I'll just play 30 cards and.
Yep.
Seriously?
Yes.
To take the fun out of it.
Exactly.
Well, I would think at that point, if everybody's playing 30 cards, you're only ever going to get 5 or maybe 6 balls out.
Balls.
I'm getting all these balls out, you know what I mean? But yeah, exactly. That takes the fun out of it. Plus, if you don't have the dauber, you can't give yourself the face tattoos. Did you guys ever do that? Like do the daubs on your face?
I'm still on my tip of my penis. And then use that as the dauber going forward.
All right, we played a different kind of bingo, but that's cool.
Hey, you're sitting right next to me. Remember that?
Oh, that was your penis?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Okay.
It's like a little, yeah.
I thought you brought up a pet python.
All right, I gotta go.
And Jefé's legend grows. All right, dude. Make some money, make a lot of it, and we'll see you in a bit.
All right, guys.
Later.
Later. All right. So if you guys want to follow along, go to whiskeyhellpod.com, click on the 2024 World Event Bingo, And you can even scroll down to the bottom. You'll see us checking stuff off the list. Right now, we've got the earthquake 7 plus has been called. So that one's done. We're going to get cold bomb here probably in I don't know, a week maybe? It's going to happen.
Yeah, by the end of this week, it's supposed to roll in here in the Pacific Northwest. And then, I mean, I would think by the time we do the next show, we can probably cross that one off the list. It's coming. And I called that. I called it last show. It's not a, it's not a secret. It's not the gods just being like, hey, let's give them cold. We see what's happening with the polar vortex. We know it's coming. So anyway, it's going to be fun though to watch all of the climate change morons go really fucking quiet for a week. Either that or they're going to try and spin it and be like, well, the record cold is actually because of the record heat.
Yeah, well, that's what'll happen. That's what'll happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Beard of Liberty and Calliope have joined us. Thank you for
Thank
popping
God.
in here. Calliope's working tonight.
Yeah.
Looks
like
it goes slow.
Or it goes quickly, but it's not too busy.
Yeah.
You don't want it to go slow. The only thing you really want to go slow is sex, right? And then only sometimes, because you got to vary the speed. You want a variable,
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah.
Variable speeds might be a show title. We'll have to see.
I mean, yeah. Well, I'm bound to say some more ridiculous shit. I'll tell you, variable speeds. This is probably the quickest I've ever finished a beer.
Really? Already?
On Whiskey Hell. Yeah. First of all, it was only just a 12-ounce can. Second of all, I'm telling you, this beer is it's just lovely. It's just easy to drink. Yeah. But I've got my side bitch, so we're good. Let's keep cruising. Yep.
Epstein's List.
Yeah.
The documentation finally came out for the case that Maxwell was tried for. All of it was unlocked. I guess I'm surprised that it was actual. I mean, I'm surprised that they actually. I was thinking it was going to be more along the lines of his client list that he worked with professionally. I didn't realize it was going to be his client list that he worked with professionally.
Yeah, no. It was. These were the people that went to the island.
Yeah, the details are absolutely horrendous. I don't even really want to get into it, other than they're disgusting.
Not necessary. Yeah.
So we really want to concentrate on the names that were on there. Alan Dershowitz, for one, famed attorney. Shocking.
And professor.
And professor, yes.
Right.
He was in there 137 times in the documents. And this is also, and people, when you start to go back and look at this guy's history too, he tried to make an argument for lowering the age of consent from 16 to 14.
Yes, he did.
So wonder why he was trying to do that. Other names, Prince Andrew 76 times, who actually turned himself into police, and then the police said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We're not gonna process you. Don't worry about it. Just get out of here." And it was said in there that he had sex with underage kids, basically.
So I mean, is that because of, the sunset clause? Like, are we too far away from when it happened that they can't arrest him? Or they're just like, well, there's no proof. Just because you were on a plane and you went to an island doesn't mean that you, I mean, this is just eyewitness testimony, right? I mean, we don't have any video of this shit, do we?
No. I mean, there might be some out there someplace, but yeah.
It's a he said, she said, but if the motherfucker drove himself down to the police station, was like, here, you should probably cuff me. And they're like, don't worry about it. This is the kind of shit that, I mean, it makes me, this is what, I'm going to have an aneurysm because of this kind of shit. Because we have a story later where they raided a fucking Amish guy's farm, because he's not pasteurizing his milk or some shit. But so they're going to spend government money on that. But this shit, I mean, that's what I mean. None of these people are going to jail. None of them.
So I think there's going to be a patsy. What I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to have all this stuff go out. And now that it's unsealed, then you're going to have other people nosing around each one of these individuals. And they're going to get tied up in some kind of cases. There's going to be lawsuits. There might be somebody who comes forward all of a sudden out of the blue who starts naming names. I think you're going to get somebody. I don't think it's going to be Bill. I don't think it's going to be Dershowitz. Prince Andrew, well, he's quite honestly, he's the biggest. As far as how the evidence was produced, right, or how it was released, they flat out said that they had sex with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody else, there's a lot of implications. He should have been. He actually should have been. He absolutely should have been.
Well, and I mean, shit. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Well, the other one that was on there that's just odd is Stephen Hawking.
How does this work? The memes are amazing.
Oh my god. I mean, the internet definitely wins on that one. I mean, the Hawking memes have just gone ape shit. And if you haven't seen them, folks, do yourself a favor. If you have thick skin and you can handle a joke, go out there and fucking look at them because they are incredible. But there's a theory that I want to float out there for our listeners, and tell me what you think. You have somebody like Stephen Hawking. Now, his early work, way back in when he was still, a functioning, walking around human being. He was not in the wheelchair yet when he first started his career. He was a huge proponent. He talked a lot about and wrote papers about the Earth disaster cycle, that every 6,000 years, the Earth's magnetic poles flip, the sun has a micronova. And he talked about that a lot. And then, do you know, right about when he stopped talking about that shit was when he went to Epstein Island. So it's almost like they lured him there. Who knows under what guise? Maybe it was to have sex with kids. Maybe it was to just meet some important people, some other physicists. Who knows? But he went. He's on the list. He went several times, I believe. So after the first time you go, I guess, you kind of know what you're getting into. But either way, he went. And now they have blackmail dirt on him. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, stop talking about this shit. We don't want people getting scared of this. Start talking about black holes and dark matter and other shit that doesn't matter, that we can't do anything about. So he did. And that was right about the same time that he stopped talking about the Earth disaster cycle, because he was big on it. He was huge. He was one of the first people that I ever heard of that even called it out. That's read one of Stephen Hawking's earlier books is how I found Ben Davidson. So weird. Anyway, I think so. I guess my point is, I think maybe some of these people are on the list or went to the island because it was a way to get dirt on them, to control them, to get them to do what needed to be done. I don't know. Just a theory.
So, well, along those lines, though, it is becoming pretty clear that Epstein worked for Mossad.
Well, that's
the
proven.
biggest proven rumor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. It's pretty much been proven.
Yeah.
To the point that he even had a prominent prime minister, was actually not caught, but I mean, it was strongly suggested that he was there. And this was Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel.
Yep.
And he was there for like 30 different times, and it was for massages apparently. And massages are code word for they had sex with the underage girls.
Right. Might as well be pizza.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty disturbing week, and like you said, it came out, and then everything's, it's just there's people are starting to do the math and tying things together, and it's just been, I think, while that, yes, it was anticlimactic in the sense that nothing's going to really happen to these guys, maybe on the stretch something somewhere. But it was just sad. I went through and I read, like, the first night I read probably 79 pages of it. And it was a deposition that I read, and it was really hard to get through. I mean, it was sad. The mind control, the manipulation that went on. Every one of these girls had a lot of issues at home. Abuse prior, it was just awful. It was just absolutely awful. These two, Maxwell and Epstein, they're the absolute worst human beings, period.
Well, I mean, when you start, talking about in like a mythical make believe, creature like the devil, something that we can focus all of our fear and hate towards. Great. It serves that purpose. But then you read something like this kind of thing starts to come out, and you go, fuck, man, maybe the devil really does exist. And maybe his name is Jeffrey Epstein, or maybe the devil is like whoever's all of the people that are doing this shit, because it's one thing to go and get massages from these underage girls. Weird shit gets people off. Okay. I'm not giving you a pass, but I'm saying I understand. But when you're the organizer, you're the one that finds these kids, that steals them away from their homes. As fucked up as their home might have been, you still took them from their home. You probably got them hooked on opioids. Wow, that was a tough word. So they, even if they try and leave, they have withdrawals and they get sick, and you can find them. If you're the person that's thinking about all this and organizing it and making it happen, I don't know what else do you call that person other than the devil? I mean, short of the fucking horns and the bifurcated tail, that's the fucking devil, dude.
You talk about, well, to kind of take that further, the guy had a fascination with DNA and preserving his. He had I think there's two, he put together a DNA research company and got about $200 million worth of financing. And one of the things that he was trying to do was he was going to try and preserve his bloodline and impregnate as many women as he possibly could.
Right.
That's a whole nother aspect of this. That's just,
yeah.
I mean, that's dark shit.
Yeah. No, he was a weird dude. He did a lot of dark, weird stuff. I think we can move on from that. I think, particularly people that listen to this story, free thinkers, people who are doing their own research and making up their own minds about stuff. You all know this dropped. You all know what's probably not going to happen to these people. The only thing that I would like to see come from this that hasn't yet is maybe like, okay, so Clinton doesn't go to prison. How about Hillary? As terrible as she is, how about she divorces him in a very public, messy, how about these fucking cowards' wives leave these assholes? How about that? Like, what are you staying? Now that this person went to this place to do this thing, and you're okay with it. You're going to stay with them. That's my man. You're really going to die on that hill? I mean, all right, they're not going to go to jail. Can we at least collapse their lives? But no, that won't happen.
Well, where's the cancel culture, right?
Where's the cancel culture? Thank you. That's my point. Yes.
I know, I know. Liberal America blew a fucking heart wall when they didn't see Trump went there and got massages. I know that's something they were really, really upset about. But we can parade out all the names that you've seen so far. Why isn't even the liberal side coming down on Bill Clinton? Nope, nobody seems to care. You can hardly get any. You can't even get any press time on MSNBC or CNN. We're not going to talk about it.
Do you think we're all kind of wondering if this is real? Like, I mean, to your point, like, why isn't there more outcry? Is everybody just like, is this the real list, or is this, more fake news? Because I mean, I don't know. They could have put out a list of anybody. I mean, to Aaron's point, I mean, my name could be on that list. Like, they could have put out a list of anybody.
Sure.
And we're all going, okay, is this the actual list, or is this just another decoy? Another I don't know. Because if we're talking about what we're supposed to be talking about, which is having sex with minors, why is there not more outcry? Why is there not more cancel culture on this? More people being dragged out in the streets. I mean, wood chipper these assholes.
Can you think of anything that's going to be really more demoralizing than knowing and seeing nobody get arrested from this, though?
Seriously.
Why would anybody try afterwards? So it's a hell of a message to send. You know what? Fuck them. Let's go ahead and release the list. Give them all the documents and watch nothing happen. Now you guys can just go ahead and shut the fuck up. Don't ever do this again. That's what the lesson will be. That's sad,
Jesus, man. Yeah, I mean, it is demoralizing, and it's a huge statement to our society, our culture, where the world is at right now. That none of us can stop scrolling long enough to just truly fathom what it means to take a child from their home, and that's bad enough. Kidnapping is already bad enough, and then these things are done to them. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, we can move on. I just something's got to come from this, because if it doesn't, you're right. I'm gonna throw up my hands and go, "What the fuck's the point?"
Yeah, we'll just start reviewing movies.
Joe Bob Briggs. Is that his name? Joe Bob?
I want to thank everybody who chimed in on the poll, though, for us. We did get 40 votes, 80% no, 20% yes, as far as would anything happen? Will anyone see jail time from the Epstein client list being released? So thank you guys for doing that. Psychosomatic Cinema podcast, I think realistically not enough that counts. Despite everything, Trump could still be running again. This won't change much. I kind of took that as, well, it was okay for them being liberal. But I know she did clarify further. No, I think it's worthwhile regardless. Just pick Trump as an example. Consequences are rarely given to powerful people. Follow no one at Follow No One Band. There are so many intelligence agencies with vested interests in this case, it's hard to tell, but most likely they'll find a few patsies, for the general public to focus on, to take the eye off of what is now appearing to be a worldwide operation. The story of podcast. Someone will go down. However, anyone who is proven to have abused anybody on that island should go down regardless of the party. The level of power on that list will be astonishing. It'll be interesting really quick. And Jason Burke, I really hope I'm wrong here, but the people who went to that island have never really suffered consequences. Epstein hardly suffered any in prison until the end. Look up all the perks he had until he committed suicide, quote unquote suicide. Like I said, I'd be happy to be wrong here about this one. So thank you everybody for chiming in on that polls. Those are great. We love getting your feedback and being able to get kind of a temperature on where everybody is on these things.
Yeah, that was great. And let's not forget either the collateral damage that has come from all this too. For sure, Anthony Bourdain, he was suicided because of all of this, because he sent that tweet out that he had proof that the Clintons were part of a child sex ring, and then he died that night. He was suicided. There's rumors that Robin Williams also had thoughts on that. What's his name? Chris Cornell. Yep. I mean, the whole song, I'm Going Hungry, that's what that was about, was the child sex trafficking. So you can go down this list of truly amazing people. I mean, those 3 people right there alone are 3 of my heroes. And they're all gone, suicide, even though all of them had everything to live for. And I see the fucking posts on Twitter all the time. They'll show a picture of Robin Williams and be like, you just never know how much someone's hurting. Yeah. Or you just don't know how much they knew. So there's a lot of collateral damage that came from this. And this is the people that we know about. There's probably thousands of people who were like, hey, I need to go to the press with this or the cops or somebody, because this is fucked up. Like, I don't know, a chef, just throwing that out there, like maybe Barack Obama's chef. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's just one of those things where after a while you scratch in your head and you're going, what are we doing here? Like there's one set of rules there's one set of rules for us and another set of rules for them. And to Aaron's point in chat, it might be time to bring back the angry mobs. Like I'll grab a pitchfork and a torch. I'll go down to the Clintons right now. Let's do it.
Well, it kind of happened in Germany with the German farmer uprising.
They're starting, aren't they?
Oh, very much so. Hundreds of tractors lined highways to protest of Germany's left-wing government's recent announcement of cutting subsidies for farmers. So they're going to cut basically, in a nutshell, they're going to cut the subsidies, tax the shit out of them, and make them sell. That's the whole goal.
Make it impossible to farm. Can you imagine? What are we doing? What is the point? Now, I know in this country, this is a little known fact. I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's worth mentioning again. Most of my family is from Kansas and Iowa, and I still have a lot of family back there. And our government pays farmers not to farm because we have so much fertile land that if we were to farm it all and grow wheat or soybeans or whatever on all of it, or even raise cattle, it would crash the markets. Like wheat would literally be worth nothing because there would be so much of it. It'd be free. So they pay farmers not to grow on a certain amount of acreage that they have. So that seems asinine to me, but this, where you're actually going to say we're not going to subsidize farmers who are struggling, and we're also going to tax the fuck out of you. That's rubbing salt in the sunburn, man. That's terrible.
Well, and it's all in this. Now, here's the connection that I see, and we had one of our friends in Japan reached out to us on Twitter.
Yes.
This is to make up a gigantic hole in their 2024 budget. This isn't
on the backs of farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So farmers went out and they protested. They showed up in massive numbers. They've been showing up at government offices, shooting manure on the office doorsteps. They've been taking over roadways. They even jumped a ferry. It was a little that was a little aggressive.
That was cool. Well, because that one politician, parliament guy, I don't know what they have over there, but he was trying to get on a ferry. The mob found out, and they tried to storm the ferry. I wish they'd have got him. Just all it would have taken. You know how strong farmers are? Just one of them to get him by the nape of the neck and pull him back on the dry land so they could just have their way with him.
Well, we're talking. No, we're not saying violence. We're not preaching violence. We're not nothing like that. But
I would never.
I think it does send a very clear message, right?
I mean, yeah.
Apparently,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
The German PM has actually backtracked after this week's protests. So they're pulling back on the cost saving measures. They're going to lax. They're gonna soften the cost cutting. And basically they they won a little bit, right? They didn't. It definitely wasn't a full win, for sure. But at least at least it's a negotiation now. So we'll have to see where that goes. But it also doesn't bode real well for what we're seeing even here, as far as as far as Amos Miller Farm. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through that one?
Oh, I mean, what's to walk through? So this guy, again, Amish, has been doing organic production of milk, cheese, I think beef. He actually has some slaughter cows, and eggs. And they are, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just reading here the affidavit that they are claiming that the New York State Department of Health confirmed a positive case of foodborne pathogen. So this is all based on an E. coli outbreak, which, by the way, we have these in industrial farms all the time. I mean, anytime you've had any of your lettuce,
but that just gets a recall. But that just gets a recall.
Right. Right. These big farms, these big, huge industrial farms, they just get a recall and a slap on the wrist and everything's fine. This guy, and this, by the way, this original case was back in 2016. Mm-hmm. So now fast forward 7 years. Almost 8. And they're going to raid this guy's farm because of what happened back then, which he obviously corrected the problem. And so he's out there doing it right, growing natural food for people to consume, to be healthy with. And they raided, I mean, when I say raided, there's pictures of them like literally just taking out boxes of shit. I mean, they just took his stuff.
Well, they raided the fridges. They took I think they took everything that he had to sell at that point in time.
Yeah. I mean, they basically bankrupted this guy. Even if he's found not guilty in 6 years, because it's going to be tied up in litigation forever. They're going to just, keep kicking the can down the road. Even if he's found not guilty, he's now bankrupt, period.
He can't defend himself. He can't. Right. He can't find a lawyer who's gonna be able to pick. I mean, he might. I mean, I think somebody will probably pick it up pro bono just to go after the government.
Hopefully,
but he's gonna have to defend himself, and he's not. I don't know if he's gonna be able to go and produce anything in the meantime. So I don't know what he's gonna do for food for income.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, listen, I get it. If I was selling the vegetables that I grow in my garden in my yard, or selling the eggs that I'm going to have with the chickens that I'm getting, and I start selling them and people are getting sick from my shit, then yeah, I get it. Like, someone needs to take care of that. That's not okay. But this is his livelihood. He's been doing it right. He had one little minor case and he took care of it. I don't know. And again, that's where I just go to, like, this guy's out there doing it right, living his life, and he gets raided. Taxpayer money goes to this, but the Epstein list people will walk.
And he's helping his community.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of a farmer's market, right?
Right.
You go down to your local farmer's market. This could be any one of those guys.
I have several farms down the street from my house that do this exact same thing, and I love them. We love them. It would be devastating if they got shut down. Devastating for this whole community.
So it's Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Keep an eye on that one. This is Amos Miller, and I just want to go back to the podcaster that reached out to us from Japan. It's off of Sage Skeptic and Storyteller. That's at SSS the podcast. You guys can follow them online. Reach out to us every occasionally, so we appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I hope that doesn't come to Japan like we were talking about, but it is something that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, and that would be an interesting thread for us to start, perhaps on Twitter, because the original question was, hey, is the U.S. government cracking down on gardens in your home gardens? How many, any livestock, are they? And so I answered her back kind of what the laws and regulations are here in the state of Oregon, which they vary from literally from county to county. in my county, you can have up to 8 chickens. You can have livestock. You can have a goat or a pig. You can't have anything larger than, I think, 300 pounds. But you go, 100 miles up the road to Portland, and they can't even have a home garden in their front yard. It has to be in their backyard, and it can only be, I think it's like a 4-foot by 4-foot garden. So it varies from county and they can't have any chickens or livestock. So there's definitely heavy government regulation. And we all, of course, know it's illegal to collect rainwater because, why would you want to do that? So it varies here. It's really a patchwork, but I do feel like there's more crackdown now than ever. And this story kind of proves that.
So this was Amos Miller Organic Farm. You guys can go to his website, amosmillerorganicfarm.com. It is I'll just read it to you. As a member of our community, you will be able to purchase products that are produced on our Miller's Organic Farm or from local surrounding Amish farmers who practice the same sustainable methods. We strive to raise happy and healthy animals, grow food that is chemical-free, GMO-free, soy-free, antibiotic-free, and hormone-free with traditional time-honored but unconventional sustainable methods. All of the products are only available to members who belong to the private association, are not available to the public. So you'd have to obviously get a membership to it. And probably
which means you're volunteering to eat his stuff.
Yeah.
God, what an asshole. Someone needs to take this fucking asshole down. What a dick. How dare he? Jesus Christ.
It is amazing. Yeah. And Beard, to your point, there's been areas that the FDA and the EPA have asked for people to register.
And I know California, at least like LA proper, you can't have a home garden anymore. LA, San Francisco, I mean, it's against the law. There is a law, an ordinance written. You can't have a home garden. I mean, people can shit on your front porch, and that's okay, but you can't grow your own food. Because, God knows. Yeah. God knows what a San Francisco carrot tastes like. I don't know. It's insanity, dude. I am, to the point of our friend in Japan when she reached out to your point. Yeah, it's scary because if it hasn't already happened in your community, it's probably coming. And that's the scary part. It's like you can see the writing on the wall.
Yet in the Southwest, we're perfectly fine with the Arab companies coming in and taking water rights so that they can send alfalfa to Saudi Arabia.
For their horses.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Lots of water for that.
You ready for beer too?
Oh, I'm so ready for beer too. I've got one that I'm pretty excited to try. I've not had it before, so I'm hoping it's as good as I think it's going to be. But yes, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's get to beer 2, and we'll do this. All right, so I'm out of my comfort zone on this one, Fitz.
Okay, in what way?
I don't like shakes. I'm not a shake guy. Oh, and shout out Gray's Tap Room. They're in chat now. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Hi, welcome everybody.
Organized chaos is what we like to call them.
they do bring the heat.
Yeah, if you guys haven't had the pleasure, definitely go listen to Gray's Tap Room. They just got done recording some goodness for, I think it was. You guys have to correct me. I think it was Patreon night, right? Maybe something like that. Anyway, you guys should go download them. But Double Blazed Orange Milkshake by Hop Butcher.
Hop Butcher, okay.
It pours a very cloudy orange. I can smell the orange zest as it pours. It is cloudy. And my big fear is that this is going to be super creamy, super lactose intense.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it a run. Lot ahead. So let me look at, that's deconstructing. While the head's going down. Head's going down. Tell me slowly. So
I
they
like their
are
artwork.
actually, yeah, their artwork is really pretty cool. So they're from Chicago. They're up in Aaron's neck of the woods. Sort of.
That's amazing because the beer I have is also from Chicago.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. They are actually, no, they're right off of Lincoln Square. Cool. So, lots
Nice
of
area.
really good looking beers. The artwork is really cool, like you were saying. I don't see. It looks like they're kind of heavy on ales, IPAs, but their artwork does kick ass.
Yeah, it's very fun. Very fun.
All right, this head is not going down. I'm just gonna go for it.
That's what she said.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
it's also what she said.
It smells like a really zesty creamsicle, though.
All right, I'll stop.
Oh fuck. Oh no. Oh, I hope that grows on me.
Uh-oh. That bad, huh?
Oh, it's exactly what I didn't want it to be and more. All right, so you put you bite into an orange, but you don't peel it,
Uh-huh.
and then add a vanilla milkshake to that. Oh. Oh fuck.
You okay over there?
No, it's got this is a double IPA too.
Oh, well, okay.
Damn it. Milkshake Double India Pale Ale, 9.5% hops or Citra and Strata, which it definitely tastes like a Citra.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice.
Could be a long second half of the show for you, my friend.
Oh, just concentrate on the content. We'll be fine, brother. Go ahead. What do you got?
All right. I have, and it's funny, we were just talking about farms and farming. This is from Off Color Brewing, again from Chicago, Illinois. Didn't really know where they were from, but I see it now. And this beer is called Well Fed Sheep, and the artwork just has a bunch of really fat fucking giant sheep on it. Which I honestly I bought it because I liked the artwork and I thought it was a cool name for a beer, like Well Fed Sheep. But what it is a Scotch style ale brewed with honey. So it's almost like a mead, I guess, a Scotch style ale brewed with honey.
Oh wow.
Because that's traditionally how you make mead is with honey. So yeah, so I'm really curious about this thing. I'm a little I'm going into this cautiously because you just had a train wreck of a beer, and sometimes we do this where we just both torture ourselves at the same time. So this one's either gonna just blow my socks off and be amazing, or I'm gonna regret it, and we're just gonna have to battle through together. So here we go.
I'm betting it's perfectly fine. It's just Scotch. It's a Scotch ale.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh wow,
That's a really nice idea for a Scotch ale. That's
That's-
rad.
that's beautiful. That
So
that
we're
is
just-
okay.
we're just gonna let
Oh,
Fitz talk for the next hour about his beer, and that'll make everything okay with mine. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is first of all, this is one of those breweries that puts that they have that this is a high gravity beer, which we talked about last week. But I like that brewers are doing that. They're putting the gravity of their beer on it, on their cans. But no, so very light and refreshing. Some light caramel notes, even some raisin notes in there, like almost like a raisin. Remember at Blarney Stone when we would get the bread pudding?
Oh, do I? Yes.
Okay, this is bread pudding in a glass.
No.
That's what this is. Yeah. It's not
That
quite
stuff
that
was so
sweet.
good.
It's not quite that sweet. Yes, it was so good. But it definitely has that raisin, earthy, rich flavor to it. That caramel. It's all in there. Great beer. Wow. I am very pleasantly surprised by this. This was a This was a win for sure. And it's a 9, I think it's a 9.5. So it's, it'll do the job too. So very good.
A rich malt, light color, caramel, and biscuit profile from as much malt as our brew house could hold is accentuated by a slight alcohol presence, while distinct honey notes complement the dry finish, pale copper in color, with only enough hops to balance the huge malt profile. If you guys are ever looking for a beer and you see the IBUs on it, the IBUs are low. So like for this one, 18.
Yeah.
It's not a bitter beer, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you see the gravity is low, right? It's a lighter beer, right?
Yep.
So that's another good way to kind of tell if you're picking something that is going to be in your wheelhouse or something. Like for the IBUs on my train wreck. Let's see if they even put it on here. They might not have. But a lot of your IPAs are going to be like
they're 60, usually
80.
they're usually 60 and above. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember that one I had on the show? It was like first season. It was like a 97 IBUs. And IBUs, it's international bitter units. That's what an IBU is.
Right.
That fucking thing. As soon as I opened the can, my eyes started watering.
Oh, yeah. It's assaulting.
Yeah, right. So
there's nothing nice about it.
No, this beer is that exact opposite of that. I like that little bit that you read there, because that's exactly what I'm getting. So I guess my palate is still 5x5. My eyes are going. My fucking knees hurt every morning when I wake up. My back is a little twingy, but fuck, I can still taste beer. So of all the things to go, I guess I'm kind of glad I still got my taste buds, and my joystick still works. So
that's, or as we like to call it, a dauber. Going back to Jefé's.
Going back to Jefé, yes, well played. A dauber. I just when someone says that word, all I can picture is the dumb fucking elf from Harry Potter. What was his name? Dobby. Yes.
Yeah. That fucker.
No, I mean, I can't stand anything about Harry Potter, but he was especially offensive to me. You
know what, though? I kind of want to see a redo on him, so that he does nothing but walk around and tell people how giant asshole they are. Like, they tried to make him good, and there was nothing good about him. If they had just made him an absolute dick, like they did a spin-off movie, and it was just like Dobby, only he's more like Ted in the movie Ted, and he's just a perverted, drunken mess, that would be entertaining.
Now they tried too hard to they made him basically like a Jar Jar Binks, which again, top 3 most annoying characters ever to be conceived. He is the Jar Jar Binks of Harry Potter, and
that's true.
I hated it. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, that's a Star Wars reference. Does that mean you want to go talk about Star Wars?
Yeah, let's talk about that fucking idiot.
Should we get this out of the way?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
let's do it. I hold on first before we start this.
Okay.
Beard. We know, we hear you. Just make sure you're sitting down for this next segment, because I know you're pissed about it. I'm pissed too, dude. This one hurt. I mean, Disney had already ruined Star Wars. We've established that, but this was sticking it in and breaking it off. This is terrible. Go ahead.
All right. Here's the new director of Star Wars.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure? And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely.
You, Jon
I
Stewart.
like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Not you, just not you. Not you.
Point taken, point taken.
But, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection, and then say, maybe there is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
What is
Or I can never see one of your fucking Disney movies ever again. I'm done. I am absolutely done. I don't need to see this. I will never go see this. I have no desire to go see anything having to do with Star Wars. Maybe The Mandalorian. He's just fucking cool. But even that story is starting to suck. No, we're fucking done. And if you're going to use this as a platform just to give guys a hard time, fuck you. It's a movie. Get over yourself. This isn't The fucking Color Purple. This isn't some kind of a after school special where you're trying to entertain. You're trying to bring up fantasy. You're trying to bring up sci-fi. You're trying to put us in a world that we can't live in. That's supposed to be the point of it. Not to pistol whip me or pistol whip anybody else for not thinking the way you want us to think. Fuck you.
And oh, by the way, Star Wars is sort of kind of, known for having strong female characters. Princess Leia, stud. Yep. Rey, stud. Padme, I mean, hold on, let me move my heart on aside, but other than that, stud. That's what Star Wars, that was one of the beauties of the Star Wars franchise. Is strong.
It wasn't all about the guys. Yeah, it wasn't all about the guys.
It was fucking amazing. And what's her name? Ahsoka. Which, I mean, before Disney ruined, before Disney ruined her, she was
the cartoon and the books.
She was awesome in that. Yes,
and read the books. George Lucas and the writers for what is considered canon for Star Wars always had strong female characters, which are actually stronger than the men a lot of the time. They had incredible balance. That's actually how the world should be. We should be in balance. Not I'm so fucking done. I can't begin to tell you how fucking done I am with this. I'm over Star Wars.
Imagine, you know what? Imagine, first of all, I know I said it during the clip. I couldn't help myself. Fuck you, Jon Stewart. I used to fuck with that guy. I liked Jon Stewart a lot. Fuck you for, I don't know what forum that was or where he was at or why why he was on stage with these yentas. But fuck you, Jon Stewart. Fuck you proper, and I'll fight you. Straight up, man to man, because fuck you. But second of all, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he's emceeing, so you know he's going to pose those kind of questions, though. So I'm not going to hold the same kind of angst towards him. I mean, it could have gone two ways, right?
He said the word patriarchy.
Well.
Okay, so here's to my second point, all right? Imagine take out the word men in what that idiot said and put in any other race or sex you want. Like if she had said that, like imagine if I went up on stage and I was like, I really like to make transgendered people feel uncomfortable. And then the whole crowd laughs and I'm like, oh, no. Fuck the transgenders. Fuck them. I like to make them uncomfortable. Imagine if she had said that. Or the blacks or the Asians or you fill in the fucking blank. The only reason it's okay that she was able to say that is that it was men.
It was bagging on men.
She could say it. Yeah. And fuck you. We're not all women beaters. Never hit a woman in my life. Never will. No one I know has ever hit a woman in their life. We're not all dicks like that. And I'm sorry that the men in your life were, but don't take it out on the rest of us. There's some good guys out there. We're trying to change things. This is not the way to do it. Just terrible. Anyway, sorry. Rant over.
Oh, we've got a new rant coming. We have more rants to go, brother.
Okay, all right. Hold on.
We're not done.
Nose out through the mouth. Oh, here we go. Wind it up, sir. Wind it up.
Harvard President Claudine Gray resigned. Shortest tenure in the history of Harvard Crimson. The absolute, the bullshit that came from this, and how she's tried. She's a race baiting whore.
Oh, she's terrible.
Because this isn't about, she's made this, she's taken it from the DEI issue, right? Which screamed, we're not going to be equal. We're going to make sure that whites are segregated against. We're not going to let them, it's not going to be an even playing field. Okay. Harvard made that clear. MIT's made that clear. Yale's made that clear. And then she goes off and she tries to say, well, it's because I'm black. That's why they brought up that I'm a plagiarist.
Yep.
No.
It's now being used as a racist tool. Yep.
No. It's because you're an educator. You're the head of one of the most prestigious schools that America has. And you steal other people's content. You're the worst example of an educator that a school could possibly have. You're the worst example of an American educator that we could have. You're supposed to be guiding and protecting and pushing our students into the workforce and making them better and making them great leaders, but yet you fucking copied your work? When you do shit like that, yeah, people are going to say you're a DEI hire because you obviously didn't get there on your merit. You used somebody else's.
Kamala Harris. Sorry.
Well, allegedly she blew her way to the top, though, so we should just call her knee pads and be done with her.
Yeah, but again, not she didn't get there because she's smart
not
or
because
has
of merit.
anything between her fucking ears. No.
Oh God.
No, I mean,
just go back to merit. Just go back to merit, okay? The best of the best. I'm sorry, that's how it should work. Not everybody's going to be the best. Get over it.
Yep. I want a meritocracy. I want opportunity to be equal, but I want the best Listen, if I go in for surgery, who do I want? Do I want the guy that plagiarized his way through medical school? Or do I want the best fucking surgeon I can get in that room, pulling out my whatever. You know what? Go ahead. I was going to say something absurd.
If we're not going to have a merit, if it's not based on merit, nobody else is going to set the bar. Nobody else is going to try to scale that bar. If we're all just, being average, if our education system is just average, what the fuck are we going to do? What are we going to achieve? What are we going to invent? How are we going to be better than it is?
Yeah.
It is. Yep. It completely is. We used to be the bastion on the hill for education. Countries would send their kids here to get educated, then come home and then go to work. That's not what's happening now. We can't even do simple math because it's racist. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what was the recent stat for Baltimore schools? Like, there was like 2 of Baltimore's public schools that actually passed the math, and all the others failed. All of them failed.
Yeah. So rather than teaching math, what are we going to do? Dumb it down and pass everybody.
So bad. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what they'll do.
When did Common Core start? Was that under Bush?
No, that was just at the tail end. Well,
was that Obama?
Beginning, middle of Obama to the tail end of Obama. Yeah,
he was such a great American.
I mean, that's the thing, he's touted as like one of our great presidents, but if you actually look at his record, he killed the most innocents in foreign countries of any other president ever. So that's a cool one to hang on your belt. He completely dumbed down the entire American population. Obamacare was a complete and total train wreck. It's terrible. We're still reeling from that. People are still trying to get off of it. He was a terrible president, but hey, he talks real pretty.
And he puts out great movie lists and book lists at the end of the year.
And hey, he can shoot hoops, dude.
He
Can shoot
can.
hoops.
He can.
And you know, the shit of it is, I got taken in with all that. I liked Obama when he was president.
I did too.
I thought we were doing okay. Yeah. And now on the, you know, we're on the dark side of the moon here, and it's like, now that the facts are coming out about who he was as a person, as a president, fuck that guy. Fuck everybody that he ever fucked, and fuck anyone that is a kid of his. Fuck them all.
Is there any
You know,
chance that he fucked the Associated Press, because they could fuck right off too?
Oh yeah, let's fuck those guys. Let's we're in a fuck them up mood. Let's do the AP.
Harvard president's resignation highlights new conservative weapon against colleges: plagiarism. I loved that this got community noted right out of the fucking gate. The Associated Press, which used to be the pinnacle, right? This was like the press for the world. If you're a member of the Associated Press, you were like upper echelon. Okay.
Yes.
News agencies that didn't have somebody on site would reach out to somebody who was part of the AP to get their insight, to get their boots on the ground take on what's happening in locations. This was before we decided to like just send a Gulf Stream with our reporter out to wherever they were going.
It was a collective of the world's best journalists.
Yes.
And not just best journalists as in, wow, they can write really nice, but people willing to go into dangerous parts of the world and get the real story because we deserve to hear it. Like those kind of people. Hard-nosed, get out there, put on a fucking flak jacket and see what's happening. That used to be the AP. And now they're just a government arm. They're just a shill of the fucking government.
It's not only a government arm, it's a left-leaning government arm.
Yeah.
So I think this is a huge step, because basically what they're saying here in this article, you guys can go to show notes, whiskeyhellpod.com, go and look at the show notes, it'll be there. They're okaying plagiarism.
Yep. You're a conservative asshole. Yeah. I love that they put the moniker that it is a conservative weapon against colleges. Okay. The very fact that we all know what they mean by that means that colleges probably are leaning a little bit too far to the liberal side, a little far to the left. Because if there has to be a conservative weapon against what the fuck you're doing, then maybe you're too far the other way. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well,
if I have a really good fucking Navy, I'm the best Navy on the planet. I'm the UK in the 1800s, in the 1700s. I have the best Navy on the planet. Guess what all the other countries are going to start building? A Navy. Because they need to combat what you're good at. So if conservatives are using the truth as a weapon against you, liberals, that's probably telling you something. You've gone too far. Jesus Christ.
Freebeacon.com. Neat little site. It is right-leaning. We'll just go ahead and say it right there. But there isn't any denial here. The KR Foundation, a Danish nonprofit that seeks the rapid phase-out of fossil fuels, gave the equivalent of $300,000 to the Associated Press in December 2022. According to the charity's annual report, though the AP says it is committed to the highest practicable degree of transparency. Regarding its backers, the news outlet added the KR Foundation to its list of current philanthropic supporters only this month, according to the Washington Free Beacon.
Hey, we have a Jefé sighting. I'm not trying to get off of this story, but we do have a Jefé sighting.
No, that's okay. This is the best way to get off of a story, sort of. I mean, unless you're
get off on a story, because that's what Jefé does. He gets off on stories.
All right, Jefé. How's the rest of your evening going?
It's a little better.
Good.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Still,
did you get it? Did you get a handy?
No. No, I don't like those. You know that.
Well, I know, but
would you
like
turn one down though?
Yeah, like a quick one under the table or something.
Yeah, I would. I mean, unless she's eating, then there's an excuse. But otherwise, or talking.
Oh, you're in the middle of that sandwich. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
At least give me your other hand that's not busy stuffing your face.
You may use your hand on me.
You know what I'm not into? like at all, like makes me go soft immediately is feet, like the foot job thing. And I know some guys are really into it, but I feet just don't do it for me. No, thank you.
How?
Nope.
I don't understand it. And I'm not knocking it. I mean, I don't think any of us are knocking it. There's no kink shaming
not
here.
at all. No.
But how do you? I mean, maybe she's like got really long toes, right? And then like she can wrap around the shaft, and then she's really
She's like a monkey.
Yeah, and
Are you
and
fucking
she can
a
like,
monkey?
No, come on, no.
A baboon.
I just yes, a baboon.
What about a tail job?
Maybe it's got to be better than feet.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Well, a tail job though, I mean, if you're wrapping it around and around and around, that's like ribbed for your pleasure then.
Yeah, if it's if it's like a prehensile tail, right? Those grab, tree limbs and stuff. So it can certainly grab my tree limb.
God damn, we're terrible.
And then like, what if it's swinging from it? Like I'm into that kind of. Like, remember the Manchi cheese? Never mind.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop right now. Jefé, what's the most exciting thing that happened tonight?
This conversation.
Okay, hold on.
All
Tabby,
right. So
Tabby in chat has a brother that has toes as long as her fingers.
She must have really short fingers.
Or none. Just tap the fingers.
I don't know.
Do you have fingers? You have fingers, right? I know. I've seen. Yes, she's got fingers.
Okay.
I've seen her hands.
Whoa.
They're lovely hands. I've seen her hands. Well, I've seen them on YouTube. They're on YouTube. And she gestures with her hands when she talks. But I have yet to see her brother's feet, which I'm glad for now, because literally if he has hands for feet, I'm out. I'm out. Anybody with more than two hands kind of creeps me out.
She's got to have pictures of that somewhere.
That is a good point. Yeah, please, McShane, read the headline on this story, please.
Giant creature with finger-like genitalia found in Tanzania. It's a new species.
No, it's not. It's called Fitz.
So is it like one
like
big
your finger?
Like
your
finger?
Well, I think it moves like it.
I like to call it an arm, more like, but okay.
I mean, you can see the if you look on the screen right now, Jefé, you can kind of see the digitus as it is called.
That's a genitalia? That looks like one of its legs.
No, that's its finger head cock coming out of its head.
It's proboscis. It's like a proboscis.
Wow. See, you guys learn all kinds of new words.
Yeah, and having a penis that people mistake for a leg is more of a curse, trust me. But we've been over this. You remember the penis toenail thing?
Oh, yes, I do. Please, let's not go there again.
What? Come on.
They don't call them tripod for nothing, folks. So it just proves that science and millipedes are awesome. It's actually a millipede.
It's in the millipede family.
Yeah.
Do you know that honey badgers and wolverines, like probably two of the craziest, toughest animals on the planet, do you know that they are the largest members of the weasel family?
I did know that. I did know that. Yep.
That's why they're so scary and smart, because they're in the weasel family, and then they're built like fucking tanks.
And they're psychotic.
There's the video going around. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it.
Yes,
with
the leopards. Yes.
3 leopards attack this wolverine, and the wolverine not only fends them off and fucks up one of the leopards, but walks away. Like, you can see this leopard grab his leg and try and tear it off, and he just walks away. He's like, yeah, nice try. I'm out.
Yeah, and he walked away. There was no running. He just this is a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that.
No, he just sauntered away. He's like, I'm gonna go find a fucking beehive to pull apart now. Thanks for the warm up.
Hey, can we get into the Miami alien thing?
Yeah, let's go there while Jefé's here. Jefé, what did you hear about this? I mean, initially, what did you hear about this?
Oh, initially they just gave us that bullshit story that was a group of teenagers fighting with sticks.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
And
I
so
saw
they
first
called
too. Yeah.
8,000 police officers to the scene, and but they cut off everything. They cut off communication. They cut off with the police scanners. The airport shut down. It's
Yep. They closed the airspace. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pile of bullshit. There's no way, and they couldn't come up with something better than that.
Dude, this was Nakatomi Plaza times 10, right? I mean, there must have been, you're not exaggerating. There must have been 8,000 fucking cops there.
Oh,
yeah.
It was absolutely packed. There was
They had the
absolutely
entire,
no doubt about it.
They had the entire, it was like an outdoor mall. They had the entire mall surrounded by like blue and red lights, like the entire mall. Yeah. And then on top of it, they closed down the airspace. Only 2 choppers, government black choppers, were flying around over the airspace. Why do you don't close down airspace for fucking teenagers fighting, or at least they never used to? Maybe that's a change. I don't know.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. It was very, very strange.
And I said it on Twitter, but like, if you want us to stop speculating that there were fucking aliens, because that's the other thing, is that some eyewitnesses have come out and they've said that there were 7 to 10 foot tall shadow creatures coming after them, running around the mall. And of course we're all supposed to go, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Even though earlier last year they admitted that there are aliens. We've had contact. So is it absurd? But if you want us to stop talking about it, if you want us to know what's really happening, show us the CCTV footage. Every mall has, I'm probably on the low end by saying there's 300 cameras in every mall. There's probably more than that.
No, yeah. I can tell you for sure that there's more than that.
Your brother was a security guard at a mall. Yeah.
Yeah. And he ran the CCTV for basically the city of Scottsdale. So yeah.
So yeah, you don't. I mean, so show us the fucking footage then. If there's no aliens, show us just these teens fighting with sticks, which I just picture like something out of a Van Damme movie, like these kids are doing Collie or something.
It's like Blintock.
Which I would have loved. Yeah. Or like they're filming like it was like a flash mob and they're just doing Thriller or something. But I guarantee you that's not what happened, because you don't close down the airspace for sticks.
No. It's very odd the way it broke down. So, Aaron, the news story is someone reported terrorist activity, and that is why they responded like that. So, yeah, that's another story that's out there. I've seen the thing with sticks. I've seen chairs being thrown. Regardless, if the first thing that you would say, okay, this is exactly what was going on. We approach the situation from this perspective, and this is why we did what we did. Told you the other day, I didn't even know they shut down the airspace over it. You would say those things, right? You would come out and you would definitely say it. You'd show, this is what we were actually there for. Maybe there was a little bit of an overreaction. But then again, we've seen what happens with the BLM riots. I mean, we've seen what happens with some of the different protests.
Yeah, but I never saw that kind of police presence.
No,
even for the BLM, right? No,
you're absolutely right. But maybe Miami's not fucking around.
Well, and good for them. They shouldn't. I mean, whether it was teens fighting with sticks, and I heard another one that they were shooting fireworks at each other, but I think that was just to cover up the gunfire, because that's another thing we haven't talked about. There was gunfire that night too. I mean, I've seen videos of people who like live across the street from the mall, and they see all these cops coming, so they start filming with their phones, and you can clearly hear gunshots. Those are not fireworks. There's a big difference between those two. And if you know, you know. And those are clearly gunshots. So so that myth came out that they were fighting with fireworks. So I don't know how that works, but so I mean, something went down that night, and the fact is they're not telling us the truth. And so I mean, that's the thing, is all we're asking for is just fucking tell us. Tell us, like, yeah, no, actually there was some major terrorist shit going on there. Here's the proof. Here's the CCTV. It was fucking crazy. We're gonna blur out the faces so everybody's protected, but it was crazy. But they're not gonna do that. They're gonna hope to just bury it in the Epstein list.
Yep. Because that came out the same night.
That police statement that said there were no aliens, no, the airport didn't shut down, all that. So they're just sticking with the kids fighting thing. And that's why there are all those police cars or terrorists. That's, I don't know about that.
I mean, the official account is that there were teens fighting. I mean, that's yeah.
Well, I gotta go. But Gretchen said to say hi.
Hey, say hi to Gretchen for us.
Hey to Gretchen, one of our first Hall of Famers. Have a good night. Watch out for the fucking 10-foot tall shadow aliens, dude.
I will keep an eye out for those guys.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
I guess see you
later.
What if? So he's on the reservation. What if we, from burner phone said there were like skinwalkers, like in the parking lot.
Dude, we need to do a whole earlier. Mike from Grace Taproom asked if we've ever considered doing a World War II episode. My God, one of the early things that McShane and I bonded over was World War II and our fascination with it, and some of the historical facts and the weapons used and just the strategy. And so I don't even think we've ever talked about it, because I think that would be like a 6-hour episode, but it would be a fuckload of fun to talk about World War II with you. But like, yeah, beyond that, what did you just say?
What?
I just lost my train of thought. You were just talking about something.
Oh, skinwalkers on the reservation.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Jesus. So I just wanted to address the World War II thing. The other thing that we could talk about for like 6 hours is Skinwalker Ranch.
I have known nothing about it, so I'd be all about trying to figure that out.
Oh, McShane. Oh, dude, if you get just a little bit too drunk one night, watch that documentary, Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
It's that's one of those that lives rent free in my fucking head all the time, all day, every day. I think about that shit. Fucking crazy.
So there's the Iron Druid series. There's one of his books he dedicated to fighting skinwalkers. So really fun. Really, the whole Iron Druid series, if you guys haven't listened to it or read it, I highly suggest doing it. It's fantastic. But yeah, one of his books is he fights skinwalkers, and it's fucking great. And it's also takes place in Arizona. So that's
yeah. Cool. Well, and just the last thing on this, like just while we have the tinfoil hats on and everything, there's I guess what's fascinating about it to me is that it ties there's a thread that runs through all of these conspiracy theories, and it ties it all together in a nice little bow. So I find that fascinating. But as we know, a lot of the kids that get taken, for, as we were talking earlier, for Epstein Island and for all these child trafficking, a lot of the kids get taken. They get taken at malls, and there's a conspiracy theory out there that that there are aliens who take them. That's how they can go. They can disappear without cameras seeing it, because they can shut down the technology, or they can blank out the film with their technology, and we don't ever see it. And then they take them into these underground tunnels that we know run all across the United States, and then they're just in the wind, and they end up someplace awful. So
is that like the tunnels that run from like it's either the Hyatt or the Hilton? Because that came out too this week.
Yeah, right. Those tunnels that, I mean, there are tunnels Denver's kind of the nexus, like underneath the Denver airport, but there are tunnels that run from the west coast to the east coast of this country all the way. You can drive underground the entire way underground underneath this whole country because there are that many tunnels. Anyway, so one of the theories that came out about the Miami thing was that these aliens got caught taking some kids, and the cops showed up en masse and started shooting, trying to stop it. And that's so it kind of ties in the alien, the child, trafficking, all of it into one nice little thing. And that's why they were at the mall. So some wild shit, dude. Wild shit's out there. And I am taking nothing off of my board particularly. Cause I'm just sitting back popping some popcorn and wondering what the fuck's next.
There are some stories that I wish would have happened right at the very end of the night. This is one of them.
Wait,
oh shit! Yeah. No, what you've got there?
Yeah.
What
right. About the? Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's talk about Vivek.
All right, so this is one of the best answers that I've heard.
Yeah.
You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do that, and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you. Look people in the eye and tell them what you've actually failed to tell them for the last 5 years. Own the accountability for your own failures as the media. That's how we rebuild trust in this country. And until then, I don't have a lot of patience to play the games.
That's the greatest fuck you ever.
Fucking mic drop, dude. He should have walked away, and he should have wrapped himself in that fucking flag that's right behind him. Thank you for saying that, Vivek. I like you more and more, dude. He's gonna be suicided. You watch. That should have been on our bingo cards.
Every time I start to, and again, the question was, Washington Post reporter doubles down. You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy, though. She immediately regrets it, and that's when he goes off.
He's from Pakistan. His family's from Pakistan. He's brown. What are you talking about, you fucking idiot?
Every time I start to go away from I'm like, he's wishy-washy. I don't really trust him. He does something fucking weird. Why did you have to go rap? You're flip-flopping. Yeah, and he goes and he does something like this, and I'm like,
yeah,
goddamn.
I'm with you. I think that Vivek is, Robert Kennedy. He's going through some tough shit right now because stuff's coming out. He went to Epstein Island. He said some questionable things in the past. On top of all of that, he's a Kennedy. People have questions. They have concerns. I get it. I still like RFK. I don't think he has a fucking snowball's chance in hell.
No, it's gotten worse over time, too.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the guy as a person. Like, I would like to be a friend of his. Like, I want to work out with him. And have really deep conversations while we're fucking pumping iron. But I don't think he's going to be president. Vivek seems like a really solid choice for a vice president run. Like if he was Trump's vice, that would end a lot of the racism shit that people want to accuse Trump of. Because I mean that's still alive and well that people call Trump a racist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that would end a lot of that, or at least squash it. And Vivek is sharp. He's witty. He could handle a press conference without, handlers around him. He could just walk in and just be like, "All right, what questions do you have about what the president said tonight?" So I could see him being a vice presidential pick. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to see. I struggle with him. I really do. He has moments of genius like that was, and I really appreciated that answer. It's just tough. It's tough when he goes back and forth on things, and he's not. It's the consistency. I did like that he decided. He also this week he also said, "Well, fuck you to mainstream media ad buys. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done with that.
Yep.
There's no point in it. It's the dumbest thing you can possibly do." And he's now refocusing his money. And usually when somebody does that, you got to think, well, they're about to come out of the race, right? They're done. They're not going to do any more ad buys. And that's not the case. He's still traveling around on his bus. He's still doing stuff. He's
a multi. He's got a. He's
a billionaire a couple times over there. Yeah.
He's got fuck you money. So why not run a campaign on your own shit?
If nothing else, it's gonna get you some notoriety. It's gonna give you a voice. It makes you a little dangerous, and that's not a bad thing for them.
Yeah, which again, going back to on the positives, on the pros side of things, that's one of the things I like about him. He is dangerous. I mean, it is the one and only thing I like about Trump. I don't like the way Trump looks. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like what he says. I don't like his stance on a lot of things. The only thing I like about Trump is that he's dangerous to the establishment. And Vivek, I can kind of check off a few more boxes in that. Like I like what he says, I like how he says it, and he's dangerous. So he's kind of got the whole package. I think you are a perfect example. I think he worries too many people, because he's waffled on a few things. He's not quite consistent. He's not clear on where he does stand on certain things. And maybe that'll sort itself out in the next, 11 months. Because guys, we're on the clock. This show, Whiskey Hell, is going to get really fucking exciting over the next 11 months because, we've had mudslinging before. This is going to be absolute mud pies, just shit pies flying at each other, and it's going to get good. And I can't wait. We're going to have so many fucking good shows. It's going to be great.
Well, it looks like DeSantis is actually backing out. If he doesn't win Iowa, he's going to bail. So
of course.
I think everybody kind of saw that coming. But at least that's going to be done. This Haley business is ridiculous. It's absolutely amazing that she's still in it, and she's as big a warmonger as Lindsey Graham is right now. But the problem with her is that she's backed by huge money in defense.
You know what I think we should have?
What's that?
I think it should be written into the Constitution, or like an amendment, obviously not written into the Constitution, but it should be an amendment. What are we up to? 29? 35? I don't know. I'm showing my ignorance here. I know there's more than 10. But anyway, an amendment should be that at least one of the presidential debates should have to be topless. And hold on, stick with me here.
All right.
Okay, so you got Trump. He shows up, he walks out on stage, he's topless. He's got slacks on, but that giant fucking sloppy bitch ass body shows itself, and you're like, ugh, that's gross. I can't vote for him. Vivek comes out, and he's younger. Maybe he's in shape. Maybe he's been working out. Maybe he's got some fitness lines here and there. And you're like, maybe. RFK comes out. He's fucking jacked. He's got a six pack. He looks better than any of us. And he's older than you and I are.
Oh, he's what, 72 or something ridiculous?
No, I don't
like
think
that?
he's quite that old, but he can fucking
67
bench.
maybe, something. He's up there.
Maybe, yeah, he can definitely bench like half of Harvard's football team. So he comes out, he's jacked, and then you have this fucking idiot. What were you just? What's her name? God damn it! You just said her name.
Haley.
Now I can't remember. Oh, thank you, Haley. Haley comes out, and she's got a nice rack. And I'm not even saying she has like she can have a bra on. I'm not talking nudity here. I'm not trying to be grotesque. I'm just saying she comes out, she has a nice rack, and you're like, maybe I could let all the warmongering go.
You know what?
Yeah, because that's a solid C cup. Or you look and you go, you know what? I don't care. Nice set of tits. I want nothing to do with her. She's a fucking psycho. Because that's what she is. That's what I'm saying. Like let's strip these people down so that they are literally and figuratively naked to us, so we can really find out what their motivations are, who they are as people, and then we can judge them on that, because all we see is what they want us to see, what the powers that be want us to see, and that's this whole show started on that premise right there. What are they not telling us? What are they not showing us? Let's dig deeper. Let's have a nude debate. Why not? Let's see how big Joe Biden's schlong is. Why not? And let's make it really cold in the room. Let's see him at his worst. Show me someone at their worst, and you know who they are. Okay, I'm done.
Like the dude from Alabama who dove into
yeah, in the Bass Pro Shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's walking out with a thimble on. I mean, that was So what was that guy on anyway? For anybody who doesn't know, this won't even be in show notes because we're going off roading now. But go look up guy who dives into fish tank in Bass Pro Shop, and you'll see it. But what was he on something? What was his problem? Besides deciding to be naked and jump into
I think his problem was Bass Pro Shops. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what motivated him to do that. I've not seen anything that he was on drugs. Like, I'm sure they did a talk screen on him. And but I don't think he was on anything. I think he just was like, you know what? Fuck it. Today I am going to be famous. And for today he is.
I'm getting naked in Bass Pro Shop.
I mean,
I'd choose other places. I have chosen other places, but I just anyway.
We have a regional, like a big Bass Pro Shop here in Eugene, Springfield. It's actually in Springfield, and it's big. But the fish tank is not nearly enough. It's not big enough to hold a man. So I guess what I'm saying is I wish that this had happened in my town, but it didn't. So here we are.
Well, there's always tomorrow.
It's true.
I'm going to go ahead and start following Vivek, just because he is putting out some really good content, and I think we need to talk about it. So I'm going to make sure we put that up. So you guys will see some more stuff from him.
One thing I will say about him is that even if he, comes in last and like he's not even a factor in the elections, which I don't think will happen. I think he will be a factor. I think he'll steal votes from someone, and or he'll be Trump's vice. But regardless, he is dropping some bombs that will be quoted for a long time. When he gets his backup, when reporters try and corner him, he comes out with some amazing shit. And I mean, we'll be quoting that stuff for a while. He's very well spoken. I really like that.
Yeah. So something that we've not talked about yet. It is January 6th. We're 3 years removed from the insurrection. And a lot has happened this year. Have your feelings on it changed any?
No, zero. I still feel like, I mean, I know what I saw that day. I know what I saw.
But our feelings though changed a significant amount from that day though, because when we were watching it, I mean, it was one of those events that we're like, this is really fucking happening, and we're watching it. I mean, we watched damn near 24 hours of the news cycle for it. And I don't think any of us, or you and I, we thought it was strange. We thought that there was a hell of a lot going on, but I don't think it got as blatantly turned around as it has in the last year. I feel completely different about it in the last year.
Okay, how so? I mean, because what I saw that day was a bunch of people who were, Trumpers. Clearly, they had the flags and the hats, and but largely, it was. And again, this is there's an exclamation point on the end of this, which is that all of the news crews were, 300 feet away from the Capitol. Like, there were no news crews rushing in. Remember back in the day, they used to rush in with the cameraman, and the fucking screen was jiggling because he was
They
running.
would have been right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they would, but no, none of that happened. Nothing happened. All that happened was we had a view of the Capitol, and you saw a swarm of people, most of them smoking and wearing a MAGA hat. And
it didn't look like an insurrection.
No, it was like a bunch of people milling around talking about Trump. And it, like, as soon as the sun goes down, I got to go back to my wife and kids because, I got to get back to the mill tomorrow. That's what it looked like. And so my feelings as far as the day it happened, when they started calling it an insurrection, I immediately was like, what? That's not what I saw. That's not nearly what I saw. There was no action. It was boring. It was stupid. It was a bunch of fucking hillbillies, throwing rocks at windows. It wasn't nearly as bad as BLM. Not nearly.
Well,
and then
you still saw, the fighting. You still saw one woman was killed. And then you see nothing but, guys, supporters of Trump walking through the Capitol. My view didn't change completely. It wasn't solidified until I started seeing cops just opening gates and saying, yeah, come on this way.
Exactly. Yes.
And when you start seeing videos and you start seeing, Pelosi with her daughter on a camera following her through like it was fucking staged. They knew it was going to happen. It was baited. And that's where I've changed in my view. It was baited completely.
Yeah. I mean, even up to the point where, and again, shout out to, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, but I'm going to say it on this show. I'm going to say it. Shout out to Tucker Carlson, because he got all of that footage and he immediately released it to the public. Not 1 minute of it was redacted by him or his team. Whatever he got, he put out to the public. That's how democracy works. Truth, here's everything I saw. You see it too. Make your own mind up. But once that happened, there were scenes where you've got the body cam footage of police officers being like, okay, guys, okay, I'm sorry. What he says is, okay, folks, let's wrap it up. Like it was some kind of fucking town hall meeting or something. He's like, okay, folks, let's wrap it up. And everybody was like, okay. And they followed him out. There was no gasoline lighting offices on fire. There was no, hey, fuck you, bro, I'm staying as long as I want. None of that. It was like, oh, okay, our tour of the Capitol's over. Okay, I guess I'll take off my headphones now and we'll follow you out. And that's what happened. They followed him out. That's what happened that day. That's not an insurrection, guys. If you think that's an insurrection, you probably have pink and or blue and or whatever color hair, and you're confused at what gender you are. That's probably what's happening. And I'm sorry that was probably insensitive to somebody somewhere, but it is what it is. I'm at the point in my life here where we have to say, you've got to choose whether you're going to follow logic and I don't know, I guess like an actual way that you're going to live your life, in which you're going to say, I want to go with what makes sense for society and our future, or you're going to go with, well, every individual everywhere needs to have whatever they need. And that's not how society works. And so you have an insurrection, quote unquote, because people didn't like the way the election went. Okay, they're allowed to do that. Like, that's a democracy. That's what's supposed to happen, right? I mean, I would hope if somebody didn't like things we were saying on this show, they could speak out and say, hey, we don't like what's going on in your show. And be like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to redact that. I'm going to retract. I'm going to issue an apology. But that wasn't allowed that day. Instead, it turned into this. Trump's still on trial for it.
Yep.
Which, where are we at on that?
It's going to go to the Supreme Court. And they should lose tremendously. Hugely.
We'll see.
Fitz, what beer are you taking to bed?
Well, for sure, the well-fed sheep.
Cool.
I have nothing to say bad about this beer. In fact, everything was right about this beer. And I mean, the artwork was great. The flavor of the beer was great. The ABV was just on point. Like, I feel just buzzed enough. Yeah, great beer. I kind of wish I would have bought 2 or 3. I just, it's one of those beers you never heard of the brewery. You only buy one because you're not sure. But I'm regretting not buying more than one. So, what about you? What are you taking to bed?
This is actually tough. I wasn't overwhelmed by either of them. And honestly, I was really surprised how the double blazed orange actually warmed up.
Oh, really?
Actually, after you get past the first assault, your taste buds focus on how cold it is, and then you get into the vanilla shake, and then it turns into it's basically an orange vanilla shake. Not quite to the creamsicle side. It never got to the point where it was overwhelming in lactose, which I was really afraid of. I'm still going to go with Piranha Pool. I can't believe I just used all those names in one sentence.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I'm going to go with the WeldWorks. But the double blazed orange was not as bad as I originally thought it was going to be. So I'm okay with the Piranha Pool. I probably wouldn't have the double blazed again, but it wasn't terrible. Not like I thought it was going to go.
You know what? That's one of those beers that I kind of wish we both had one.
Yes.
Because I'm not saying, I mean, you and I have very similar tastes, but every once in a while we diverge, and I think that might be a beer that I would like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it totally could be. Yeah.
But yeah. Oh well.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right. As always, you guys can check us out at whiskeyhellpod.com. That's the website. Go to the Patreon. Check our Patreon out. Got a lot of stuff going on there. Just search Whiskey Hell Pod or podcast. You guys will find us. We actually have a $1 tier right now, so you guys can just get in, get the doc that we have every week. You'll see it all up front, and you can kind of see how things are going to go. But we also have you can get into if you go for one of the higher tiers, You've got our chat. You can hang out during the show like Tabby and Aaron and Beard and Elle, Joe, Mike, Calliope when she's able to make it. So a lot of fun, a lot of comments, and you actually kind of make the show along with everything else that we're doing. So definitely check that out. Otherwise, at whiskey_hell is our X account. We got a bunch of other accounts, so just look us up on like Rumble and all those other things. We're out there. We just don't frequent them very much. So I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. We love every one of you. Thanks for tuning in every week. Thanks for making this show what it is. It's definitely changed, and it's because of you. So keep giving us feedback. Let us know what we're doing well, what we're not doing so well, and we'll keep doing our best.
On behalf of El Jefe.
Yes.
Have a great week. Have a great week. Have a great week, everybody.
I'm dead.
Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.